All right, y'all, welcome to the show. I know it looks like I'm giving a deposition right now, but I'm not. I'm on vacation at the moment. This is the world's most echoey room, and there's seemingly nothing I could do about that. Tried to open some windows, tried to move some things around, but didn't help much. But nonetheless, I'm here to add insult to injury. The Wi-Fi is also out at our vacation house, so I'm recording this using cell phone data, and then I have to try to find a way to send it off to the editor. So, a lot going on, man. But one thing for sure, you cannot question the dedication to this show. But there is so much going on that we got to dive into. Am I hurting inside just a little bit? Because I can literally see the golf course right there, and I wish I was on it. Yes. But that doesn't matter because the country's falling apart, and I have some updates for you. So, in just a second, we're going to talk about Trump's big, beautiful bill and how it quite literally is societal suicide. Wait until I walk you through the provisions in there. Then we're going to talk about Elon Musk exploded at Trump yet again. I'll break that down for you. We have Trump cannot stop gargling Netanyahu's nuts. We have Zoran and his press tour. Bottom line, he is really, really good at this. He is just a naturally talented politician, and he's running circles around all of his opposition figures, including in the Democratic Party, the Democratic establishment, who are trying to take him down a couple pegs. And then later on, we have creepy billionaire Peter Thiel gives a terrifying answer to the most simple question you've ever heard. And we have Bernie issuing a dire warning about Trump's big, beautiful bill. So we have all that and more. You guys know the drill. Everybody, please subscribe to the channel. That helps out big time and costs you nothing at all. And of course, much love to all you who support this show on Patreon. We literally could not do it without you. This is real, grassroots, independent media. And definitely go subscribe to the Corn's World YouTube channel where we drop Kyle and Corn episodes. I don't know, though, man. This may be the first week that we actually miss recording a Kyle and Corn because, like I said, my Wi-Fi is out here. So it'd be pretty much impossible to record it if the Wi-Fi doesn't come back. But anyway, let's go ahead and dive into it. We got a lot of stuff to get to. So here's what happened just yesterday. We had, or maybe it was 2 days ago, but we had the big, beautiful bill, as Trump calls it, which I despise that name. But it ended up advancing in the Senate. And I believe it was like 51-49. It advanced in the Senate. But there was a lot of drama around that because a bunch of Republicans who previously were holdouts on the legislation, they eventually bent the knee. So you had Lisa Murkowski was one of them that did it. Josh Hawley was another. We have a separate segment on him tomorrow that we'll get to, by the way. And there were a handful of others who were pretending like they weren't for this thing, but they had a meeting with Trump staffers and Republican leadership, and they eventually all bent the knee. So 51-49, it advances. As I'm talking to you right now, I mean, my best guess is that it is going to pass in the Senate, but then it has to go back to the House in its new form and see if it passes there. It's actually a question as to whether or not it will. But this thing is a colossal disaster. I'm talking about country-ending type stuff, and that's not hyperbole. So let me walk you through this a bit here. We have so many provisions to dive into. So look at this. This is just some of the stuff in the big, beautiful bill. Ready? It adds trillions of dollars to the debt and deficit. In total, it's about almost $4 trillion added. It attacks states' rights to regulate AI. So in other words, if AI is like taking jobs all throughout your state and the state government wants to block that, they can't regulate to prevent the AI jobs from taking over. It blows up state budgets by cutting Medicaid. It eliminates healthcare for millions. It closes rural hospitals. We covered a story on that a while ago. It's literally like tens of thousands of rural hospitals shut down as a direct result of this bill. Cuts taxes for the wealthy for 10 years, and it increases electricity costs by 30%. So everybody was tweeting about how shockingly horrific this is. Jon Favreau says 17 million people would lose health care, 30% higher electricity costs, millions of manufacturing and construction jobs destroyed. In fact, we have some unions that are coming out and warning about this and saying, hey, dog, if you do this, we're so cooked. Millions of jobs lost. Biggest ever cut in food assistance for families, kids, and veterans. $4 trillion in deficits. $1 trillion in tax cuts for millionaires and billionaires. And I'm still not done. So here we have Brian Schatz. He comes out and says the following about the big, beautiful bill. Number one, it's the biggest wealth transfer in American history. Number two, it kills the solar industry and raises prices. This is part of Trump's war on green energy. Number three, it's almost $1 trillion cut to Medicaid. Number four, nursing homes will also shut down on top of rural hospitals. Number five, there's going to be energy shortages as a result of this because of Trump's war on green and renewable technology. Number six, $4.5 trillion in new debt. So the estimates vary a little bit, but it's in the ballpark of about $4 trillion. He continues and says, this bill is a real piece of shit, and it would be excellent if that's all anyone talked about for the next few days. Super interested if your think piece about the New York City mayor's race, but let's get to that after we try to stop the biggest wealth transfer in American history. So that's actually a great point that this guy's making. In this moment, you have a bunch of establishment Democrats who are currently casting doubt on Zohran Mamdani. You have people like Hakeem Jeffries not hopping on board, Kathy Hochul not hopping on board, a bunch of House Democrats, same thing, trying to undermine Zohran after his massive victory over Andrew Cuomo in the New York City primary to be mayor as a Democrat in New York City. And his point is like, if you're spending this time attacking Zohran as opposed to the Trump regime and their horrific country-destroying bill, you're not actually on the team. All right, so FactPost says, cuts nearly $1 trillion from Medicaid, rips away health care coverage from 16 million Americans, adds hundreds of dollars to energy bills, destroys millions of manufacturing and construction jobs. It's the largest cut ever to SNAP and food assistance for families, children, and veterans. It adds $4 trillion to the national deficit, hands out $1 trillion in tax cuts for billionaires. Melanie Diorigo says, 60% of Americans earn less than a living wage. People are using buy now, pay later apps to go into debt to buy groceries. GoFundMe has 250,000 pages dedicated to medical bills and 40,000 for tuition. Trump and Republicans come in and say, let's give 4.5 trillion more in tax breaks to the rich. So, by the way, in this bill, also tucked in there, billionaires are able to write off their private jet use and their yacht use. Imagine being able to write off stuff for a private jet and a yacht. That's beyond comical. So we're getting some heartbreaking videos that are coming out of this thing. Let me show you this here. So you have a bunch of disabled folks are going to Washington, D.C., trying to meet with their representatives and their senators. And they're warning them like, bro, if you do this, we don't know what we're going to do. We don't have the funds to be able to take care of ourselves completely. We need some assistance through Medicaid. Because as you all know, sometimes somebody's disabled, they require 24/7 care. So if you're giving them 24/7 care, you can't really go out and work a traditional job to make the money to pay the bills. And so that's where Medicaid steps in a functioning civilized society and says, hey, we're going to make sure you're all right. Well, with this massive cut to Medicaid, what do you think happens to these people? I mean, this is truly like a eugenics program where they're trying to get rid of the undesirables. That's really what we're looking at here. So here's one really heartbreaking video. They're trying to meet with a Republican senator, and you'll see how it goes.
I'm sorry that they would not meet with you. It's bullshit. So I'm just super disappointed. We went in to see Senator Ernst. Hi, I'm Nancy, and this is my son Charlie, and we were wondering if Senator Ernst was available to meet with us today.
The senator has a pretty full schedule.
We've been emailing her, and we haven't heard back from her. And so we're in D.C. today and tomorrow, and we would love to be able to meet with her to talk about her most recent comments.
People are not, well, we all are going to die. So, for heaven's sakes.
So you had Mitch McConnell saying about all these cuts, these Medicaid cuts, social safety net cuts, they'll get over it. The voters will get over it. You have Joni Ernst saying, hey, the Medicaid cuts are going to kill people. She goes, well, we're all going to die. By the way, the estimates are up to 50,000 people will die every single year as a direct result of these cuts. 50,000. They don't care. They couldn't care less.
Would really like to be able to have the senator put a face with this big, beautiful bill and how it's not so big and beautiful for kids like Charlie, so that she understands that kids like Charlie are going to be negatively impacted. It's okay. You don't have to cry. I know. It's okay. It's just he's a person, right? And he shouldn't be cut. So again, we show up and there's just a bunch of lip service.
Man, that just tears me apart, bro. Here's another one for you. People in wheelchairs are getting arrested right now in the Russell Senate office building in D.C. They showed up to tell Congress not to cut their Medicaid because they can't afford health care without it. If you look closely, you can see the zip ties on their hands. So here, I'll press play for you. Pay close attention. I can actually see some of the zip ties right here. Look at this. You see the zip ties here? Arresting disabled Americans who are protesting a bill that would absolutely destroy their lives. How can they afford to live if you destroy Medicaid? How can they afford to live? You see, you see another one, zip ties. Look, if you're one of the police officers, you got to know that what you're doing here is just flat out evil, right? You have to know that what you're, I'm just following orders. I don't care if you're following orders. Your orders are fucking stupid, and these people's lives are being destroyed. And so, in classic Trump fashion, he comes out and literally flips the truth exactly on its head and says the following. Ready?
They have Trump derangement syndrome at levels never seen before. And instead of voting for a tax cut, they're voting for a tax increase of 68%. They're voting to destroy Social Security, destroy Medicare, and destroy Medicaid. And we're voting to make them perfect and to make them better, make them stronger and better. They're going to destroy Medicaid, and they're going to destroy Medicare, and Social Security will follow. If you vote for the Democrats, you're dead on those three things.
I literally don't know what to do about a political party that is completely and utterly dedicated to lying as a routine course of action, saying things that are the exact polar opposite of the truth, and doing it so casually, so nonchalantly, so arrogantly and aggressively. Somebody watching this who's a low information voter who maybe voted for Trump might be thinking, damn, he's spitting. He sounds like he's going to protect Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. As this bill quite literally directly destroys Medicaid, $800 billion cut. And here he is going, if you vote for the Democrats, they're going to destroy Medicaid. It's going to be horrible. He is a right-wing, postmodernist president. There is no connection to reality. There is no trying to get things right. All there is sheer power. And with that comes the ability to just lie about absolutely everything and act like they're the problem and we're the solution, even though it's the fundamental exact polar opposite of that. I mean, I literally don't know what to do about this. It seems like Democrats are existing in a previous era, and they don't know what to do about this either. When you have somebody who could be just this immensely unhinged, I'm not sure there's any president in history that has consistently lied as much as this man has to our faces on a regular basis. And all of the actual evidence and the data and the details and the reporting on this bill prove that this is wrong, but he doesn't care. Because again, he's a postmodernist. He goes out there and says, this is my truth. I don't care about the truth. I'm going to say this is my truth and just run with it. It really is incredible. And then all the Republicans, of course, bend the knee, as we discussed. All right, let me give you some more on this here. Here's the polling on this bill. Ready? According to Pew Research, only 29% of the country supports the big, beautiful bill. Kaiser Family Foundation, 35% supported. Quinnipiac, only 27% supported. Washington Post, only 23% supported. And then the high number in Fox News polling is still only 38% of the country supports the big, beautiful bill. Why? Because if you've even seen just one news story on it or read one article on it, you find out very quickly what's actually in the bill, and you realize this fucks you over too, bro. This fucks you over too. All right, more. So the Senate bill would increase electricity prices in every state. In Wyoming, you'd see an increase of nearly 30% in electricity prices. Illinois, 25%. And you go down the list here. The smallest increase for any state is still around 1%, 2%. DC, it's 2%. Maine, it's 1%. But look, in the middle here, if you just were to take the median, you're looking at a 10%, 11% increase in energy prices. Again, the country cannot. This is what you need to understand, guys. This bill is flat out societal suicide. This country can't afford to have, 60, 70, 80, 90% of it get another slap across the face. They're already struggling. We're looking at a situation where Trump effectively cuts taxes for the top 1% and raises it on the bottom 90%. We already have record income and wealth inequality, record. We're like beyond the Gilded Age, and they're trying to make that worse. This is a war on working people. This is literally class warfare waged by the wealthy on the working class. That's what it is. Class warfare. All right, more. So I told you a little bit about this before, but they got Senator Lisa Murkowski to sell out the rest of America by exempting Alaska from some harmful aspects of the bill and essentially buying her off with tax incentives for Alaska whalers and clinicians and higher Medicaid share. So basically, Lisa Murkowski was going, and she always does, oh, I'm so concerned about this bill. I'm not sure I can support it. It's very concerning. And so she had a meeting with Republican leadership. Republican leadership said, all right, what do you need from us in order to support this? And she was basically like, nah, you got to kind of exempt Alaska from a lot of the harms of this bill. And they said, is that what we have to do to earn your support? She says, sure. And they go, okay. So Lisa Murkowski put a massive middle finger up to 49 states in this country and said, well, as long as you protect my state to some extent, then I'll sell everybody else out. I mean, truly grotesque, man. We also have this right here. So the Senate parliamentarian is advising the Republicans that some of the provisions in the big, beautiful bill break the rules for reconciliation. So, of course, as you all know, reconciliation means you can get the bill passed with 51 votes. Usually there's a filibuster option where you need 60 or more if the Democrats decide to filibuster. But reconciliation, you only need 51. But some of the provisions in this bill are not allowed to be passed through reconciliation. So what was the Republicans' reaction to that? They rejected a bipartisan meeting with the Democrats and the parliamentarian. They're literally like dodging and ignoring the parliamentarian. And this way, they're just going to pass it as is. And when the parliamentarian says, you can't do that, they go, well, we didn't know that you said we couldn't do that, so we just did it. Compare this to how the Democrats act with the parliamentarian. The parliamentarian says, oh, you can't put an increase in the minimum wage in your reconciliation bill. Democrats go, oh, yes, sir, absolutely, sir, we're going to drop that. Republicans go, we'll fire you if you disagree with us, or we'll just ignore you completely, and we're going to do what we want to do anyway, so fuck off. I mean, it shows the Republicans are playing the power game, and the Democrats are playing the process game. Oh, did I dot all the I's and cross all the T's, sir? Did I get everything right? If you look through it in a methodical way, like that's what the Democrats do. The Republicans are like, we want to get this through, so we're just going to go ahead and get this through, and you can shut the fuck up. It really is something, man. It's wild. You also have this vote vets. They came out and trashed the bill. Quote, the GOP is getting ready to prove once again that they have no problem screwing veterans in order to give tax breaks to their billionaire friends. This is on top of Elon Musk, of course, firing 83,000 veterans. As I'm sure all of you remember, 250,000 government workers in total. Their livelihoods stripped by the world's wealthiest robber baron, Elon Musk. So you have veterans groups coming out against this. You have union groups coming out against this and going, I don't think you understand. This is an absolute catastrophe. And so look, I said it before, I'll say it again. This bill is national suicide. That's what it is. It's class warfare waged by the top 1% against the rest of us. You're allowing the wealthy to take a tax write-off for their yachts and their private jets. At the same time, you're basically destroying Medicaid as we know it. Medicaid is healthcare for low-income people and disabled people. They're destroying Medicaid and giving the wealthy a $1 trillion tax cut on top of it. I honestly, I've said this a lot in the Trump era, but I mean it from the bottom of my heart. I don't know how we last 4 years with this stuff going on. I do not know how we last 4 years. You know, you wake up and he invades Los Angeles, sends the Marines to Los Angeles. Then you wake up and he did an illegal and offensive attack on Iran, declaring war on a country that didn't attack us and wasn't building a nuke. And now you wake up and he's like, what if we completely and utterly destroy the social safety net and wage class warfare for the top 1%? And broke this country in two, because that's what's going to happen. Like I said, we already have record income and wealth inequality, and he's pouring fuel on the fire right in front of our faces, and he's very clearly on the side of the uber wealthy. So I don't know how we last 4 more years, but this bill is absolutely declaring war on working people all across this country. The Senate should absolutely vote this down, and the House should absolutely vote it down as well. I don't think people truly have internalized the damage that could be done with this here. Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.